We're here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.
Right here. What is it that I got right here on top? I don't even know what is that. I think that's the light. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much. How's the audio doing? Is the audio okay? I don't have the headphones. I think without the headphones, the volume doesn't go down on this microphone, and we are doing good, better. So thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to everybody. It's the 21st of November. The time on the West Coast time, it is 9:46. What happened yesterday? Another caravan left. I just left Tapachula, Chiapas. I was just in a caravan of 3,000 people, and it got halfway dismantled. What I say halfway dismantled, that half of the caravan discouraged themselves after they knew that Donald Trump was going to become president. This caravan that I was walking not too long ago was around it was like around 15 days ago. This caravan left on the 5th of November, on the day of the elections of the United States of America. They left. It was around 3,000. I started walking with them. We walked on the 5th of November. Everybody on the 5th of November, the migrants were excited. They were like, Kamala Harris is going to win. They're going to let us in. This is going to continue. The illicit and illegal activity crossing through non-ports of entry is going to continue. Oh, surprise, on the 6th of November, all of them, they knew that Donald Trump has become the new 47th president of the United States of America. And the essence and the emotion of the caravan completely drifted into high depression, and ultimately the self-esteem of the migrants was at a no time. I never seen it that low. The majority of them discouraged themselves. They said, you know what, we're returning back. We're heading back home. We don't have a possibility if we're going to do the CBP One app. And they're telling us that this application is lasting 5 to 6 months from here to when Donald Trump becomes president. There's not going to be a possibility. Adding the fact that there's not a speculation, there's already a fact that Donald Trump is going to remove the CBP One app. So ultimately, this will be it can be a deterrent. It was a deterrent for Kamala Harris to detain the migrants from coming all the way to the northern borders and create this CBP One app in the south states of Mexico. But now you have this, undeniable force that is coming, that is caravans after caravans. We predicted this. We said to all of you, if Donald Trump wins in the last months before he becomes president, this is going to be a massive flow, and there's going to be a massive arrival of people that they have been waiting for months and months and months on the south border. Then you got thousands of people that are waiting on the central parts of the country of Mexico, that is on the states of Mexico, Ciudad de Mexico, Morelos, Oaxaca, Puebla, Querétaro, all these states that they are in the central part. A lot of the migrants are waiting there to just basically waiting for their CBP One app and an application. And a lot of them, they just started walking. They're saying, the hell with it. We're just going to move and we're going to enter the country illegally or illicitly through a non-port of entry, which this is a conduct that has been normalized by the Biden administration, by Kamala Harris and Mayorkas, by the Democrats themselves. They have regularized this conduct of telling migrants, or basically allowing migrants by the hundreds of thousands and by the millions, that it is okay. That is a normal conduct. So I will get right into the comments. We get right into the video of this new caravan, and I will explain why, and I will explain the reasons why. I walked 12 caravans in the south border of Mexico, and I have crossed the Darien Gap 4 times. So It gives us the plain and the vast experience to talk about this. Before I move on, buy me a coffee. It is right there, pinned in the chat on YouTube and also on Facebook, I believe so. And also, I put a comment right there on the link on X. If you guys like to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, I will be traveling soon again to show you the reality and truth of the news. There's a question right here. Oscar, do you have PayPal donations? No, PayPal completely banned me because I'm not a liberal, so they banned me because of that. So I will take questions at the end of the show that they have nothing to do with migration. There's a couple of questions that they have nothing to do with this. So I will start with this video. So this caravan, again, the bottleneck at the south border of Tapachula showed again. This is actual video of our cameraman, Manuel de Jesus, that he has walked with me all these caravans, him himself. So we're talking about 1,500 migrants, majority of them men, majority of them military age males. You have families, you have kids, you have women, like I have always said. They have women, they have children, but the majority of them are males. Entities, Central and South America. You have also people from Venezuela, and you have people from Haiti, people from Africa. But you have a lot of people from Honduras, a lot of people from Guatemala, a lot of people from Nicaragua. You have people also from Bolivia. You have a lot of entities of Central and South America. These are 1,500 that they left yesterday. And ultimately, they left because they know that there's not a big possibility of them being allowed after the 20th of January. They're not going to be allowed to enter non-port of entries, to enter to an open border gaps, to enter to these particular places. Why? The reason why it is just as simple as it is. If they are allowed to come in, which means that the policies of Donald Trump and his ideals will be failing. So it is going to be the contrast of how they are not going to be allowed to enter to non-ports of entry. And particularly, I believe that Donald Trump is going to get out of the global compact on migration, stop the federal grants and funding to these NGOs that they have been profiting out of human misery, and stop and put the threat of a tariff to Mexico to dismantle these caravans and to stop these caravans for continuing, to be a regularized conduct, to be something that is normalized for people to be walking for kilometers and kilometers, putting their lives at risk. Now, I was yesterday with the great Grant Stinchfield in our network, Real America's Voice News. I was doing a hit with him, and he was commentating, Oscar, what happened? Mexico was dismantling. And I said, yes, but I also told you there's this other effect that I told you that migrants are going to try to make a run for it. And this is unstoppable. Whether you put thousands of National Guards, whether you do this, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of migrants that are trying to make a run for it. And this is the quantities. It is just exacerbated. You have the CBP One app was moved to the south border of Tapachula, Chiapas. You have arrival of migrants per week that they already been admissible to the United States under the CBP One app, 3,000 per week. Now you know that it's going to be around 12,000 max per month that they're leaving under the CBP One app, under the application that they already been approved in the south border of Tapachula. So these are the amounts that they already been approved to enter to a port of entry into the United States, a pedestrian port of entry to present themselves in a pedestrian port of entry, enter the United States of America under the CBP One app, and then be released to population. 12,000 a month, around 12,000. That's what they're saying. Plus, add the ones that they're waiting on the CBP One app under central states of the country of Mexico. That is between 25 to 35,000. Plus, add the ones that they're speculating that they're waiting in the north borders. That is between 15 to 25,000. You have thousands of people that they're waiting. And this conduct was normalized by the Democrats, by the Biden administration. Why? Because everybody thought and everybody was thinking, if I cross illegally through a non-port of entry, I can go into the United States of America. If I can swim across into the Rio Grande River, I am going to be admissible. If I have to walk for kilometers in the desert of Arizona and put my life at risk, I am going to be admissible. If I jump a wall and I just claim and lift my hands and claim asylum, I will be admissible to enter. This is a violation to enter illegally and irregularly to another country. And this is a conduct that has been normalized by this administration. It has a conduct that has been normalized and has been glorified by the Democrats and these progressive liberals to make everybody understand Latin America that it's okay to migrate through a jungle, that it's okay to migrate through a mountain, that it's okay to migrate behind in traffic in the back of the tractor trailer, that it's okay to migrate and possibly be abused, possibly be raped in the jungle, in the Darien Gap, which we have been multiple times, possibly be, kidnapped by the cartel in the inside of the Darien Gap, possibly be extortion, possibly be kidnapped in Central and South America, possibly die between the limitations between Mexico and Guatemala, and that limitation where the organized crime and the cartel has completely taken over that border, possibly, have to pay the cartel and extortion in the country of Mexico to transport yourself from the south border all the way to the north borders. And then again, you have to deal with the cartel to get across into the United States of America to a non-port of entry and an open border gap. All these obstacles, they have been normalized, and this conduct has been normalized by the Democrats, by the globalists, by the UN, by the OIMs, by the UNHCRs, by all these people that they say we are humanitarian, we're against all of this, but you are not located educating the people not to do this, not to go through this, and you're normalizing this conduct to continue. Caravans, and caravans. Now, a lot of people are getting scared. Why they're coming, Oscar? Why a lot of people are coming? Well, it's a reality. They're going to try to make a run for it, and it's not making a run for it like saying they're going to rush the border. No, they're going to try to make it with the CBP One app. They're going to try, and I will put a statistic that is staggering and that is crazy. You guys are going to go crazy, and I will contest what this network it is saying about immigration, because a lot of the people that they put on these high quality networks, they don't even know the hell what they're talking about immigration. They never been in a caravan, they never been in the Darien Gap, they never been in Central and South America, and also they never been in the epicenters that is from Mexico all the way down. So a lot of these people, they do not know what it is, the reality, and what is actually happening. So I was with Grant Stenchel. We talked about this, and what is going to happen is that this massive flow, it is going to continue. It is not going to stop. It is going to continue until Donald Trump becomes president, and there's some action. Now, I have said this multiple times. There needs to be a consequence, and not a consequence for migrants, because migrants, it's not the fault of them. They're telling them it's open. They're telling them come. They're telling them, you can go in through non-ports of entry. This is the bad policies of the Biden administration, Mayorkas and Kamala Harris, that they have taken over and hijacked a humanitarian necessity into a political agenda. Now, what is going to happen in the next incoming months, a lot of the migrants are going to make a run for it, and they're going to try to get in before the next administration comes in. Now, the Trump effect, this is the Trump effect. A lot of people know this is the reality. It is sinking in that a lot of people know that they are not going to have the same possibilities that it was under Biden. So a lot of people are now in the United States of America, migrants that they know that they cross illegally, that they cross illicitly, that they're not a case of asylum and refugee. They're preoccupied. And I can tell you this by a fact. It's factual information. They are preoccupied because they know that their case of asylum and refugee, it is false. And they are not asylum and refugee status. They are economical migrants. These economical migrants, they do not qualify to enter the country through a non-port of entry, ultimately under the claim asylum and refugee. And lastly, to be qualified under that status, that status, it is an economical migrant. You have a process for that. You have a process that you have to apply for a work visa, and it takes time and it takes effort. And you have people that they have been waiting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years to have a green card. And you got a lot of people that they're fast forwarding to say I'm asylum and refugee, but they're actually economical migrants. This is the Trump effect. A lot of the countries in Central and South America and the world, because we have seen migrants. I have seen migrants from all parts of, I have walked with all kinds of migrants, man, from all parts of the world. The Trump effect, that is now they're realizing that this is going to be a reality, that it is not going to continue. The cartel already is realizing that they're going to have a great obstacle, and it's called Donald Trump. The obstacle it is going to be that they're going to start deporting. They're going to start returning. It's going to be a massive deportation, and inevitably it is going to be a domino effect. It is going to land by Mexico, Central America, South America, and then the trafficking from the extracontinental migrants from Asia moving into Turkey, from Turkey, Ecuador, and all this kind of stuff. That market, inevitably, it is going to decrease and it's going to slow down. They're milking the cow. It is going to stop. And this is the Trump effect. A lot of the people are worried, so they're trying to make a run for it. It's a reality. Yes, it is a reality, and you actually can see it. A lot of people are getting upset, like, hey, yeah, you know, they're going to get deported. It's your opinion. They're trying to make it before Donald Trump becomes president. This is before the 20th of January. Donald Trump is not president yet. The one that is president still, it is Joe Biden that is launching, you know, that is authorizing to launch missiles from Ukraine all the way to Russia, trying to cause a war and trying to basically give a big problem to Donald Trump so he can deal with it. You know, it's man, what a warmonger. What a disaster this president is, man. He's a complete disaster. I don't even know how Democrats can live with themselves, man, because they're saying, oh, this mass deportation is going to be completely inhuman. You're the inhuman. Because under the 4 years of Joe Biden, I walked 11 caravans on the south of the border. 11. You got to be kidding me. Out of the 12 that I have walked 11. 11 caravans. 11 caravans I have walked. Under the 11 caravans that I have walked, 4 times I have been in the Darien Gap under your administration and Joe Biden, and you have, because of your open border policies and your incentivization of all of this, a lot of people have died. And I'm talking about thousands of people. Thousands of people have died being trafficked in the back of a tractor trailer, dying in the middle of a river, dying drowning, dying in a jungle, dying of exhaustion, dying of dehydration, kids dying. It's just who it is going to be accountable for this. And this is the next step that I have been saying. There needs to be accountability. There needs to be consequences. So these politicians will never do it again. This is what it needs to happen immediately. Donald Trump, when he comes into office, there needs to be accountability for Alejandro Mayorkas. There needs to be accountability for Kamala Harris. There needs to be accountability for Joe Biden. There needs to be accountability for all these progressive, mercenary, activist liberals and all these Congress liberals, progressive liberals that they have been targeting and saying that this is okay, that this is okay to my. There needs to be accountability for Rashida Tlaib. There needs to be accountability for Ilhan Omar. There needs to be accountability for Gavin Newsom, accountability for Veronica Escobar, accountability for Chuck Schumer, accountability for Jerry Nadler, accountability for all of this, accountability for Joy Reid from MSNBC, accountability for Joe Scarborough from MSNBC, accountability for all of them. Accountability for the NGOs that they have been profiting and making millions out of this human misery and their tax return in more than $5 million. There needs to be accountability for all of this. Cut the federal grants of these NGOs. It's time to save people, save lives. This is incentivizing the cartel to grow. And it is going to be extremely difficult to decrease the power of the cartel because on these 4 years of Joe Biden, they have been making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And not I'm even saying millions, they have been making billions. And if there's not an example that needs to be held of accountability and consequence, they are going to continue. Now, also accountability for George Soros, accountability for Alex Soros, that they're the ones that they are part of this. The Global Compact on Migration that was created, and this is because all these proxies and NGOs have a lot of power because of international law. There needs to be accountability for that. Like the assassin, the animal, and I don't even want to criticize animals because this is not even an animal. The inhuman, the piece of whatever you want to call it, Jose Ibarra, the migrant that took away the life, I don't even want to describe it, of Laken Riley. That is accountability. That is accountability and consequence. You're letting everybody know. You mess around and you're going to find out. That's what you're letting. You're mess around and you're going to find out. And you're getting life in prison without parole. That's what you get. And that guy, let me tell you, that guy, it is not going to be nice in the federal prison. Federal inmates, when they see a rapist, when they see a person that abused a child, they are not going to take that lightly. That guy, it is going to have the worst time of his life in prison. And I'm not saying I'm a son of, I'm a follower of Jesus. Divine justice, it is the divine justice that has to be implemented on every man that has committed a mistake. But also there is the justice of the world. And this justice of the world, that is accountability. You're going to spend your whole life in prison thinking about every single second, every single minute that you committed that assassination. That is accountability. That is a consequence. That exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing of that accountability. Exactly the same thing of that consequence needs to happen to all these globalists, to all these Congress people that they have been projecting and incentivizing people to migrate to non-ports of entry into really difficult pathways that they have lost their lives. Man, the collateral damage, you guys don't even know. The environmental disaster. I have been in the Darien Gap. It is just a disaster. The collateral damage of damaging cultures or damaging borders. Oh my God, it's just irreparable what the Democrats have done. It is irreparable damage, and the globalists. Irreparable damage. It is irreparable damage. And now you have a normalization of a conduct to do things illegal. So you're using our people for your political agenda. You're using Latino people because they're in need and they have a necessity for your political agenda. And now with these protests, you're going to have the progressive liberals coming into Mexico, using Mexico, our country and our land, for their trash, political trash, to protest and divide and incentivize violence and incentivize migrants to go to a port of entry and protest. Because you cannot do it in the U.S. because in the U.S. you will get arrested. But over here, you're not going to get arrested for arson and all this kind of stuff. You can get away with it, right? But you're going to use our background for your political trash. It's unbelievable, the dynamics of this. The dynamics. But I just said it, and I said it multiple times. They're going to try to make a run for it. And these last 2 months. And then I'm just giving you the reality and the facts. It is actually happening. There's a massive flow. We have been predicting this. We have been saying this. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to make a run for it on the next 2 months. Now, the Trump effect that is going to be effective in the 20th of January, let's see the consequence of that. There's going to be a lot of activity, massive activity that is going to happen. That is going to be a massive consequence. Let's see what happens with that, because I can tell you, in the parts of Tapachula, Chiapas, the CBP One app, this is the line. When I was there, this is the line. And this was 15 days ago. This is the line. You have 1,500 people on Mondays, 1,500 people on Tuesdays. You got only 2 days that you can go and apply and get your number to jump on a bus, and they can take you to a different state. So from there, you will move to a port of entry of the United States of America. You're talking about 3,000 migrants per week that they are registered. Oscar, se corta mucho tu información. Discúlpame, es mi señal y es lo mejor que puedo hacer. Saludos a todos. Dios me los bendiga. You got 3,000 migrants that they are registered per week to go on this CBP One app. At this per month, you got 12,000. I believe that everybody deserves a right to migrate. Everybody has. I'm a pro-migrant myself. I believe migration is a human right, but there's laws. And we need to obey those laws. And everybody knows this. But you got more than 12,000 per month. 12,000 that they get them on these buses. You'll see the Mexican official right here giving them the go with the paperwork to the family. And then it's a go. Got more than 12,000. These are the buses right here. These are private buses. Who's paying for it? A lot of them, they say the American taxpayer on the agreement with the Mexican government. A lot of it comes out of the Mexican taxpayer. A lot of it, comes out of international organizations, small amount. These are the buses when they're leaving. So you got more than 3,000 per week. That's 12,000 a month. And that has been continuously happening. Continuously. CBP One app, it is not only in Tapachula, Chiapas, in the south of the border of Mexico, but it's also implemented in the central parts of our country and also on every border that connects from Mexico to the United States of America. This is a thing that basically Donald Trump has said that he's going to eliminate as soon as he comes into office and as soon as he becomes president. This is going to cause a fracture to the migrants. Inevitably, it's going to cause a fracture to the migrants. Because now they're not going to let them in through a non-port of entry, and they're not going to be able to use an app. So the only thing that you're going to have is what the law says. You go to a lawyer, you apply for your asylum and refugee, and then they study your case, and they will say, yes, you have credible fear, you can enter. That's what it is. So CBP One app. A lot of people are not familiar with this situation. I have said it multiple times on with Steve Bannon and also with every network that I have worked, and every Spanish working network I have worked. Do a lot of people know how many times migrants have entered this application of CBP One app? Do a lot of people in the United States know how many times migrants have applied for this CBP One app? And a lot of the migrants have reapplied. Like they applied once, they declined it, and then they reapplied, and then again. This is absolutely amazing. And I will contest everything that these people are saying because this is fake news network, but I picked it up. And the number, I checked it, and it is kind of accurate. But what they say, it is completely bluntly on a narrative of an open border agenda. But look at this number. It's staggering. And you guys are going to be completely amazed of how many times migrants have entered and re-entered the CBP One app. Bam. Migrants in Mexico, it says CBS News, that a lot of us consider CBS News fake news. But it says migrants in Mexico have used CBP One app 64 million times to request entry into the United States of America. This article was released on February 12th of 2024. This is not even November. So you're talking about 64 million times they have entered the app. This doesn't mean that you have 64 million people. Stop with the disinformation. It means that possibly a migrant or a hacker continuously it is trying to move here, to move there, decline. Oh, you're taking too long. I will decline it. I will enter it again. I will decline it. I will enter it again. I will decline it. I will enter it again. But this tells you the level of aggression and the level of massive arrival of intent under the CBP One app. This is why the app continuously collapses in the borders. This is why the application continuously not only collapses at the borders, but in the central parts of our country of Mexico. And this is why Kamala Harris decided to move the app into the south border states of Mexico, giving millions of dollars to Mexico to move this app over there, to have attention centers and all of this. So you move the app down south so you can create an open window for people to have more requests. But you have 64 million times that they have tried to use the CBP One app. 64 million, bro. Whew. Unbelievable. 64 million. This is why the application, it is not enough. This is why a lot of the migrants say it's taking too long. It's taking too long. I'm just going to cross illegally, and that is it. I'm just going to try to make a run for it. Why? Because it's taking too long. It's taking what, 6 months? And then the application, when it goes 6 months, it says denied. So they're like, no, hell no. I'm going to try it again. I'm not denied. I'm going to try to go in illegally. There's already a job waiting for me in the United States. There's already my family waiting over there. I'm not going to, no, I'm going to cross. I talked to a migrant on the last caravan, and he said, I asked him, you already know Donald Trump became president, right? And he said, yes. I asked him, what are you going to do now? Because the application takes around 2 to 3 months. But what are you going to do now that he becomes president and the application hasn't come yet for your approval? What are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going with the faith of God. First and foremost, they always say that. But second of all, what it was surprising, what's the second response? He said, nobody's going to stop me from going to my American dream. And when I cross, however I cross, I would like to look at the eyes of the president and tell him, you're not stopping me. The attitude and the normalization of this conduct, it was spread over by the progressive, mercenary, communist, socialist, Marxist, globalist liberals, and also the Democrats, Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas. This attitude, if migrants will be well educated by well-educated NGOs, by programs, by technology on how to do their process correctly and see the consequences of you doing things wrong, what can happen to you. These kind of responses, they will not be happening. A migrant will tell you, first and foremost, what am I doing in the caravan? He will tell you that if he was well educated. Second of all, he will say, I already know the process. I know that I got to pay $6 or $7. I'm an economical migrant, so I know what to do. I'm a migrant that has a legitimate case of asylum of persecution and refugee and asylum. I know what I got to do. So it will not give you that response. That response, it can be considered as violent. That response, it can be considered as a person with aggression. That response, it can tell you that that person, he can respect the law or he cannot. He can respect the law if you let him in the admissible legal way. But if he was not going to respect the law if you don't let him in, because he already said, I'm going in whether you like it or not. So it is the conduct that has been normalized. It is the conduct that ultimately has been normalized illegally by the Democrats to all the people, to all the population for their own political agenda. And then they use that as hatred. They use that to incentivize violence, to divide. Look at this video. Let me just read it again. Migrants in Mexico have used CBP One app 64 million times to request entry. Let me contest what this guy is saying. I don't even know what this guy, who is this guy? But I am going to contest every single thing that he's saying because I heard a couple of words here, a couple of snippets here and there. And I want to contest everything that he's saying because I never seen this guy at the border. So I want to know who this guy is.
Has been under the spotlight for weeks now because of its dispute with the Biden administration over how to handle the influx of migrants at the southern border.
But new data shows that the flow of migrants crossing into the U.S. illegally has largely shifted away from Texas. According to internal federal government figures, 60% of all unlawful border crossings are now being recorded in Arizona and California. For the week ending February 4th, Border Patrol averaged more than 1,800 daily migrant apprehensions in the Tucson sector and more than 1,200 in the San Diego sector. Meanwhile, the El Paso and Rio Grande Valley sectors respectively averaged between 500 and 800 daily apprehensions. The Del Rio sector recorded as few as 200 each day. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoyo Galvez is here with us in Studio 57. You were just there at Eagle Pass, so I want to start there. Let's talk about the news that Texas governor is trying to put more razor wire, more agents there, more of all of these things that the federal government has told him he needs to stop doing. What can you?
Why? Before you move on, why he needs to stop? You have the cartel operating on the other side, lady. These are terrorists. You have the cartel that is operating remotely, bluntly, viciously, without no regulation. The cartel is armed, dangerous, and has every tactical technology that you cannot even imagine, and is making billions out of this humanitarian crisis. Why? Why? Why he is going to stop? Why he needs to stop? I'm just going little by little on every single.
Can you tell us about what's happening?
Ilana, Elaine, as you just mentioned, I just returned from Eagle Pass, Texas. This border town has been effectively fortified by the Texas National Guard with razor wire and concertina wire, shipping containers and other barriers meant to impede the passage of migrants trying to cross into the U.S. illegally. It essentially looks like a...
Thank you so much for saying that. Illegally. You said it correctly. You said it correctly. Illegally. And it looks like a combat zone. Then you say, it looks like a combat zone. I want to contest that with you, my brother.
Combat zone because of all of these troops and razor wire.
I would like for you to go to the Darien Gap. You're a politician and immigration source. I would like for you to go to the Darien Gap and see how the border agents of Panama, they carry an R-15 a 9mm in their chest, and a backpack that weighs around 25 to 30 kilos through the Darien, because they know that there is going to be the organized crime of Colombia, the Cartel of Colombia, that has been in there when there was a massive gunfight. They know that there's delinquent. They know that there's bad people. And it looks like a combat zone because you're fighting the organized crime in the cartel. You're actually saying that Governor Greg Abbott, it is saying that they're sending the military, and it looks like a combat zone. I don't know if you've ever been in a combat zone, but I have been in a combat area and I have covered 3 wars, Ukraine, 2 times Israel, and they're fighting terrorists. The cartel, I don't know how you designate these people, my brother, but the cartel, they are not nice people. Let me just tell you this. The cartel, they are really dangerous people, and they're highly equipped, and they have a highly technology that you cannot even imagine. Fact of the matter is that possibly they already know this report and they already know everything. They are extremely, extremely equipped and extremely highly technology equipped. So if you are in these particular areas where they are making billions out of your territory, how are you going to protect yourself? Let me just ask you this. Before the pandering that it looks like a combat zone, possibly it looks, possibly it doesn't. Because a combat zone, you have people that are dying, people that are actually shooting at each other, people that are basically, a combat. Basically you're combating one-on-one. That's a combat zone, my brother.
And other barriers impeding the passage of migrants. Now the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, is saying that he will expand this operation to other parts of Texas to deter illegal crossings. And it's important to note that this area has not just been sealed off to migrants, it is also now preventing federal Border Patrol agents from processing migrants there, because Texas argues that incentivizes more illegal immigration.
Exactly. And why they should be processing through a non-port of entry. This is the regularization of a normalization conduct that you are basically admitting that Border Patrol agents cannot be processing illegal entries. And the word, it is correct, completely incorrect. Why are you processing people through non-ports of entry? You should be processing people to a port of entry. It is not supposed to be processing. It's supposed to be detaining individuals that they're coming in through a non-port of entry or an open border gap. The correct language, it is always going to be factual, and it's extremely important that you use it. If Border Patrol agents, it is interrupting them from applying their job and detaining illegal immigrants or migrants that they're crossing irregularly or illicitly or illegally through a non-port of entry, that is another ball game. But if you're telling me that the Border Patrol agents, there are, because of these barriers, it is impeding themselves from processing. The Border Patrol is not a processing unit, my brother. The Border Patrol, it is made to protect the border. And people that they enter irregularly or illicitly through a non-port of entry, they should be, and they could be detained or stopped, because that is a federal crime. I don't know if you know, but if you come with this argument that Alexandria Ocasio says, oh, illegal, legal asylees and refugees, they're not criminals. I understand that, but how comparable can you say, and how comparable can you give me in a statistic of how many of these people that have entered illicitly and illegally through a non-port of entry are qualified as a legitimate case of credible fear for asylum and refugee, when a lot of these people, they are economical migrants? I have walked 12 caravans, and I have walked 4 times the Darien Gap and documented migration the whole continent. So I know that the majority of them are coming for a better job. Plus, let me add you, if you already have this on, and I don't know if you have thought about it, let me just know, when have you asked a migrant that is coming because of climate change? I'm migrating because of climate change. Where are you going to process those?
The Department of Homeland Security is saying that this is preventing Border Patrol from doing its job, but Texas is arguing that it is defending itself from a quote-unquote invasion. That is the term that Governor Abbott is using to describe the situation. We obviously have to underscore that there is no military offensive being waged along the border, and that most of these migrants are not serious criminals, and they're certainly not armed. But obviously, illegal crossings are at record levels.
So it's interesting.
There's a lot of good people coming in. Man, I have been with a lot of good people. And a lot of people in my life here are going to contest this. They're coming in illegally, Oscar. They're illegals. They're invaders. A lot of people use those terms, and I don't like those terms. Really, I don't like them. But there's a lot of good people coming. There's a lot of good people. I have walked with a lot of good people. Teachers, doctors, entrepreneurs, hardworking people that they want a better opportunity in life. But I have walked with really bad people. And you are arguing that stopping this, it is preventing the good people from coming in, but the bad people are still coming in. Now, the question is, how many of the bad people have come in? And you're already seeing this as a natural effect in Chicago, in New York, in Colorado. For God's sake, their criminal was the other day was sentenced to life for the assassination of Laken Riley. These kind of situations shouldn't be happening if you will have a filter. And if you will have a process, a well-educated process for our people to not migrate through these particular pathways, that they shouldn't be a processing center. They shouldn't be a port of entry. This is not a pedestrian port of entry. First and foremost, let me tell you this. What you're doing, defending these non-port of entries, my brother, is that you're incentivizing the cartel to continue to smuggle and process to people through these particular pathways, because the cartel controls the other side of the border and controls the smuggling. And it is becoming hardly and extremely difficult for the Mexican authorities to combat that, because the cartel is making millions and it has better equipment than the Mexican authorities. By you defending these non-port of entries, it incentivizes the cartel to have more activity to these particular places. But you, on the other side, on your safe pattern and on your safe spot, you're saying this looks like a combat zone. But on the other side, you will have cartel people that are killing each other and shooting at each other and non-ports of entry because they want to control the territory. But on your side, you're saying it looks like a combat zone. But on this side, under the administration of Andrés Manuel López Obrador, you had more than 200,000 murders due to cartel activity and crime. But on your side, it looks like a combat zone. But on our side, you have more than 6 cities on the top 10 for violence and delinquency and homicides to cartel activity on the 6 years of Obrador. But on your side, you say that it's a combat zone. But on our side, you have a war currently right now of the cartel in Sinaloa. 2 of the most dangerous cartels and leaders, they're fighting each other because of who got detained and who got stopped. But on your side, you say that it's a combat zone. But on our side, they're kidnapping women. They're disappearing women. They're disappearing children. They're trafficking children. People are dying in the Darien Gap in Panama. Agents of Panama, border agents of Panama are risking their lives every day to go and save migrants on the treacherous track of the Darien Gap where people drown every day. I have been there, done that. But on your side, you say that it's a combat zone, but over here, it's not. That's my question to you. Combating the cartel of Colombia, the heroic border agents of Panama, it is not a combat zone. The Guatemala agents being completely threatened by the cartel, it is not a combat zone. The cartel completely taking over the south border of Tapachula, threatening the life of migrants and the government, it is not a combat zone. The cartel completely taking over open border gaps, shooting at journalists, shooting at the authorities, it is not a combat zone. But over there, you're saying it looks like a combat zone. What I'm trying to say, it looks like a combat zone because it's possibly a combat zone. Because they're possibly defending themselves Because on the other side, there's not good people processing the migrants. Like you say the word. Why do I say processing the migrants? Who is processing these migrants to take them to open border gaps? How do you know that these people are getting to open border gaps? Do you think they Google an open border gap and they say, oh, right here, there's an open border? No, my brother, it's not like that. They ask around and they go and they say, this is the leader of this unit right here. He works for this organization and he will take you to an open border gap. And it's so-and-so how much? The organized crime controls these open border gaps. You need to understand. Before criticizing a place where it's putting concertina wire or something like that, you need to understand why they put that. Not because of migrants, because of the massive flow and all this. I understand that. But as the other consequence, that you're incentivizing illegal activity to continue. And that should end. It is not even one of the things, one of the three, it is the migrants. Number two, you're incentivizing an illegal conduct to continue. And number three, you're not sending a message to Mexico, because Mexico, on those particular open border gaps, it is being controlled by the cartel, nobody else. So what kind of message are you going to send? You're going to leave it open? And the Border Patrol is not to process, my brother. The Border Patrol is to detain, stop, and protect. And then, if they want to process, they have a processing unit to do that. But they shouldn't be arriving and saying, how you doing? How are you? Let me give you a big hug. How are you over here? Let me just process you to DHS and then to an NGO. They just entered our country undocumented and irregularly. It shouldn't be happening. This conduct, by you normalizing these kind of behavior and using these kind of language, it gives the clarification to the cartel that they should be continuing. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Because they're not going to stop. And you just open a window for that. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much. For joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. It is a pleasure to be with you guys today. Nice to be with you guys today. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Buy me a coffee. It is right there. Pin in the chat. If people want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, give it a like to the video, share the video, like the video, share the video, and like the video. Again, caravans are not stopping, and the reason why it is because they're trying to make a run for it before, the Biden term ends on January 20th. A lot of the things, they're changing. There's a comment right here that I will love to address. Thank you so much. Now Trudeau in Canada is pushing them out. I saw this video of Justin Trudeau saying, enough of immigration. We're not going to allow it. I remember that you sat down, Justin Trudeau, with the head deportee chief, that it was Barack Obama, and the past president, Enrique Peña Nieto. The three of you were caught in a picture jogging each other. It was the most snowflake jog that I ever seen in my life of you. But if you call that jogging, for God's sake. But okay, you guys were jogging. And at that particular day, you came to a discussion to say we are going to unite on international humanitarian law and help and all this kind of stuff. And you were part of the global compact of migration. You were incentivizing people to come, but you never lifted your hand. You knew that the problem was first the epicenter was going to hit Mexico and then the United States. To arrive to Canada, you said, they got to pick a plane. And, they have to do all these kind of other things for them to basically come over here. So I'm not even going to lift my hand. I'm just going to stay quiet over here underneath the rock. And I'm not even going to say anything. But now that you see that everything is drifting and that this can possibly completely change, now you are, not in favor of the global compact on migration and the United Nations. kind of crazy how things are changing. Justin Trudeau. You just, I don't even know if you are going to get reelected or not, or what it's going to happen if you have a reelection or whatever it is. I don't even know the laws of Canada. But you have done a horrible job with Canada. Man, Canada is suffering with this guy. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. I will answer a couple of questions before I go. 49 minutes coming in. Let me see if I can. Okay, I see why you won't name the Jewish NGOs, because you have been to Israel, so you are a gatekeeper like Tommy. Wow. I don't know if you've seen my report. Before you signalize and before you point the finger, I will love for you to just, do an investigation before you open your mouth. I was the one that discovered Highest outside of the Darien Gap and creating a map. And because we started expanding that information, Highest took away that map from the Darien Gap and completely shut, their operations on that particular area, because they were incentivizing migrants to cross through pathways that the cartel has controlled in Colombia. So before you open your mouth, please do your investigation. This is how disinformation starts. This is the reason why. There's a reason why disinformation starts. And I already did a video like that. That happened. Man, who was down there? It was Epoch Times, Laura Loomer, Mr. Michael Young, Miss Ann Vandersteel. All of us, we did a report on it. And it got shut down because the what is it called? The NGO Highest was making millions out of that. But it's incentivizing people to cross through the jungle where the cartel has control. So it was crazy. So we exposed that on a map. I don't know if I have that right here. I don't want to bring it up, but I already did a video about it. So I just, wanted to clear that up. And yes, you did an accusation. Let's not justify your comment. Okay, this is an accusation. You said, okay, I see you won't name Jewish NGOs because you have been to Israel. So you are a gatekeeper like Tommy. I don't even know who Tommy Robinson is. And then later on, you said Tommy Robinson is a Zionist. So you're basically calling me a Zionist gatekeeper. So yes, you did an accusation. Let's be man enough and accept what you just did. This is why it's so important that you do an investigation before you open your mouth. And I'm sorry, this is the way that I have always been, completely honest and transparent. So Italy's apparent selling dilapidated houses to fix them. I don't even know what that is. Urban Gardner, freedom fighter, do a video of the NGOs and ACLU helping these people. We need names, please. I've been doing this for years, and I already named all of them. So much to go again and do it again. A lot of the people, they already know who they are. Question: what is the best way to recognize Tren de Agua in your area? Híjole, it's not a best way. There's no way. It's. I think that the question is not well articulated to be addressed. It is not a way. Is their activity how we can describe how they are? And then they have particular tattoos, which I did a video. If you go to my playlist, you can actually find. I talk about the Tren de Agua and the tattoos and how they are. Now they're erasing their tattoos to basically blend in with the people. Scary, yes, it is. I believe that in the past caravans I have, we discovered them in 2021. I was walking with one of them. One caravan that was completely a disaster, and you had a lot of these Tren de Agua, bad people in there. It was a really bad scenario, man. Really bad scenario. I remember that. And it was, difficult, but it's infiltrated individuals. These individuals now, they're in Mexico, they're in cahoots with the cartel. A lot of them, they're sicarios, they're being used to do bad things and bad work. So we had to understand that these are people that they are infiltrated, they are erasing their tattoos, difficult to find them. And ultimately it will be, bad if I say, well, they look brown, I'm brown, it's that's racial profiling. So it's just the level of activity can only be described by their illicit and illegal activity and by certain descriptions that the Department of Intelligence already know. Sorry, but can you please direct us to the video you did naming the NGO? Thank you. Sorry, I missed it. It's a long, I don't even know where it is. It's on my playlist. Go and look for it. It's been a while since I have. Oh my God, you guys are gonna make me do that. Chingao, loco. Let me see where it's at. Twitter. Hold on. I got it right here. So let me just shoot it to you. I'm being a nice guy, man. I'm being a nice guy. I really shouldn't be doing this. I should direct you to the playlist, and I should be just telling you, like, go to the playlist, man. But I'm being a nice guy. I'm always a nice guy with my audience. Hold on. Let me see where I can find it and download. Hold on.
Rolling.
Here you go. People want to test me if I did a video outside of the Darien Gap. This is the village called Bajo Chiquito. We found this map. I found this map. I'm outside. I'm in the migrant camp Bajo Chiquito. This is a village coming out of the Darien Gap. This is me, by the way, for people that they want to ask. This is me. As you can see, that's the nose, that's the nose, that's the beard, that's the tattoo. Here's the tattoo. That's me. Just for people that just don't want to say, oh my God, you completely did this, completely did that. No, that's me right there. And we found this banner that says highest, but on the side it has a map on how directing the migrants to enter two non-ports of entry into particular places that they're not supposed to be entering. That is the jungle. And I directed this with other people also involved. That ultimately that the information got expanded all over the world. On that particular day, there was a team of the Epoch Times, Josh Phillips, that is a good friend of mine from Epoch Times, that I collaborate sometimes with Epoch. It was a whole team from Epoch, Ms. Darlene Sanchez with her husband, that they're great writers for Epoch Times, and her husband is a great photographer for Epoch. Also, Mr. Michael Young, war correspondent, Miss Ann Vandersteel, and Miss Laura Loomer. They were there. So this is the video. Let me just put it on screen for you to understand and for you to or asking about this. I don't see the comments, if the comments are going or not going. But here it goes. This was on the year 2024. This was this year around the time of March or April, around that time. Operation Burning Age. Last time, Michael Young and Vandersteel and a whole lot of group of people came down here to the Bajo Chiquito epicenter, where the mass migration receives thousands and thousands from all across the globe, Asians, people from the Middle East, and more. Last time that we were here, there was a map that basically Hayas was promoting the entrance of how to enter to Acandí, Turbo, and Capurganá. That was, horrible to see that. Laura Loomer also exposed this on her platform on how this NGO was basically promoting the massive entrance through where the Clan al Golfo cartel in Colombia controls basically the entrance to put migrants in danger into this Darien jungle. After that exposure, the map was removed, and they just put this banner that is completely the opposite of what the map was. What it means is, for everybody that is watching, the exposure of these NGOs, that they're taking advantage of the most vulnerable to expose them, that they are actually incentivizing this mass migration through a jungle. It is really important. If they are truly helping the people that they are vulnerable, that is what they need to be doing. They're not supposed to be incentivizing migrants to go through this jungle that is the most dangerous place for migrants, where hundreds have died and thousands have suffered the consequences of multiple mudslides, assaults, rapes, and all kinds of crimes that occur inside of the jungle. It is the most dangerous place. I have crossed it 4 times. This is the accomplishment of exposing these people to do their job. We're not here to attack you, highest, particularly me. I'm not here to attack you, OIM. I'm not here to attack you, United Nations. I'm not here to attack you, UNHCR. I'm here to encourage you to do the things that you are implemented to do, what you are built to do, that is help to fix a humanitarian crisis and to not live out of it. If you are here more than 4 years, the number one problem that you need to fix is a crisis, not to live out of this crisis. And it's been years and years and years, and you have gathered millions and millions and millions, and you haven't fixed this crisis. And plus, you were incentivizing people to cross through it. So you are actually boosting this crisis to grow. This is the number one problem. We're not here to attack you. We're not here to be your enemy. As a matter of fact, if you were doing things right, and if you were actually helping the most vulnerable and informing that the cartel of El Clan del Golfo, it is the one on the other side that is taking advantage of the most vulnerable and taking advantage of the migrants, and all these packages that they are paying $350, $360 in the middle of the mountain of death, leaving them stranded alone, almost leaving them vulnerable so they can be raped and abused on the Panamanian side. If you will inform this, things will change. But other than that, you incentivize people to continue, and that is absolutely wrong. Now, this is the after video. A lot of people are going to say, Oscar, where is the video where you found the map? De 8 e 7. Now, let me get that video.
It's completely the
This is the video where I found it. We were walking, the whole team, and I immediately saw that these attention points, as you see right here on the top, it says puntos de atención HIAS. Highest attention points or highest attention strategical points. And as you see right here, it's on the top, it says Colombia. On the bottom, it says Panama. On the bottom, it says Costa Rica. Where it says Colombia, Centro Necoclí, it is where they deport the boats that they take them to the Darien. These boats, the migrants pay a package of $320, $340, $350 to smuggle them into the Darien Gap by the Cartel. And there are 3 points right there, yellow points on the bottom where it says Colombia. Says Turbo, Acandí, Capurganá. These are the 3 smuggling routes to get them inside of the jungle. So basically, HIAS is telling the migrants these are the entrances where you can go inside of the jungle, where you can head in, and then I can see you over here when you head out, possibly died, possibly be raped, possibly be abused, possibly lose your children, possibly lose your wife, possibly lose your father, possibly lose your husband, possibly be raped, because we have seen it all. This is where I found the map. The first video was after we accomplished the removal of the map, and they removed the map because of this video.
This is completely disgusting. An NGO, an international organization, United Nations. You're promoting the route through Darien, through where people are suffering, people are dying, children and women are being raped and abused. HIAS. I have been here to Necoclí. This is where the United Nations were promoting to give out birth control pills to women and condoms to men. And from here, you're promoting to people to enter to Turbo, Acandí, and Capurganá. I have entered the jungle through this place. You are promoting people to enter to the most dangerous place for migrants and to basically tell them the map of how to get to point A into point B, to how to enter the Darien and how to exit the Darien. People are dying. Children are dying. Children are drowning. Men are dying. Women are being raped and abused. I have been in the Darien where Centrofront has confronted the cartel of El Golfo and basically eradicated one of them and arrested 2 of them because they were raping and abusing migrants. And you're promoting it. You should be ashamed of yourself. People need to, and the United States need to defund this organization. You need to defund the United Nations, need to defund every international organization that is promoting suffering, that is promoting people to migrate to this horrible journey. This is not a route. If I look around and if I ask every migrant that is standing right here, if I will ask them if you will come through the Darien route, they will tell me no, that is not a route for people. But you, on the other hand, you put a banner right here with the epicenter when they're coming out, and you're basically promoting you're giving this the specific direction where to go in Necoclí and the specific points, and even you put the weather, and even you put the distance in the water of how to get to one place to another. You should be ashamed of yourself, HIAS. You should be defunded. United States people, wake up. This is too much now. They're making $1 out of your American taxpayer money. This is completely.
So hopefully that was enough. I took the time to download the videos and to show you the videos, which I should have said go to my playlist and try to find it. But I try to do it because somebody was being a little bit of arrogant and saying like, I don't kind of believe you. So it's right here. Outside of the Darien Gap, there was a village called Bajo Chiquito. And I saw that. And the reason why a lot of people say like, why you talk to them like that? It's because I've seen it. Because I suffered the consequences of that. The 4 times that I have been inside of the Darien Gap with my brother in Christ, Ben Berquam, the 4 times we have gotten sick. I have had initiations of malaria. I have had dengue, multiple body pain. And that is us being prepared as war correspondents, as correspondents for hard territory to cover. That is us, that we are prepared for that. That is why I train every day and I prepare myself, because we know that at one particular point, there's going to be something that we are going to cover that is going to demand a lot of massive body exhaustion. So we prepare ourselves. Imagine the people that don't. Just recently, there was a viral video of a migrant dying. They were showing the video. The migrant, it is in the middle of the jungle where I have walked many times, and it is gasping for air. His eyes are completely gone away. He doesn't see anything. And he's just grabbing whatever he can grab. Possibly he's on the afterlife and he doesn't realize it. He has God, please guide him to your kingdom. It's not his fault that he was guided by these demons, that they are incentivizing illegal migration and suffering of people. And this is not a joke. And not only you're incentivizing that, man, for God's sake, we have shown where the United Nations, it is promoting birth control pills, Plan B pills, and condoms for men. This is ludicrous. This is a Nicocley, the place where they depart the boats to get them inside of the Darien Gap, to get them to go through this treacherous journey to the mountain of death, to the mountain of heaven. They call them like that. And they leave them stranded in the middle of all of it. They leave them stranded. I go to my playlist, man, and I want to show you this, because you guys are you're actually challenging me to say I don't believe you. Well, there you go. We have been completely blunt to say it out loud. Thank you so much. Somebody bought me a coffee. Buy me a coffee is right there. Scarlett, thank you so much. Thank you for putting yourself out there and doing work that nobody else dares to do. Well, I'm not the only one. My colleague Ben Berquam also does it. And, we have done it together. We have walked the treacherous journey together. I'm going to put this last video for you guys. This last video, and let me try to find it. I'm going to my X account. This last video before I go. And this is a video that has been a long time. And I don't know where it is at. But I am going to try to put this video. And this is a video that compiles basically what we're saying right here. And it is compiling information for us to understand how these NGOs are making millions, how these NGOs are making millions of dollars and profiting out of human misery, how these NGOs are making a lot of money out of the human necessity. How is this continuing? And a lot of people are saying, how in the hell we got to this point? You let them. We let them. It's not even you. It's we. We let them continue with this. It's ridiculous. It is a disaster, and it has been a disaster. And it's. Let me see if it's right here. I need to know where it's at. It's a really important video for everybody to see. It's on our first journey. I think I need to go way down. I apologize. I'm trying to get that video for you guys to see. I think I already passed it. It's a really important video. And I think that I don't have it here on X. I did not upload on X. But it's basically me exposing the United Nations. And ultimately, the video, it shows me in the front of this banner where they are offering the Plan B pills and the condoms to all the men, and Plan B pills to women. This basically telling people, you know what, you're going to have a high possibility and a high chance that you're going to get raped. And there's a high possibility and a high possibility that you're going to need a Plan B pill because you're going to get abused. And, this is the consequences of having these kind of people in charge of a humanitarian disaster. This is the disaster. This is the consequence of all of that. We have exposed all of that. I don't know where the video is at. So I will owe you that video. I think that video is on my It's on my playlist. You guys can go and find that video on my playlist. I apologize for not having it right now. I think I've done enough to show you with the highest situation and the highest thing. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm going through my X playlist. Where I put everything on English is on X. I use Instagram a little bit in English, but I don't use it that much. But where I use the majority of my English posting videos is on X. So I don't think that I have it right here. I apologize for not having it. It's somewhere else. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. Give it a like to the video, share the video, like the video, share the video. So thank you, and thank you. I will be leaving now. This is a question. Fisherman 805 Lopez. Good morning, Oscar. I have a question. Do you believe in Sunday law where state as church combines together? If that happens, Christian community can be in trouble. I don't know what Sunday law is. I don't know what Sunday law is. Can you educate me on that, brother? I would love to get educated on that. And if you later on can send me a message through my Instagram profile, I will love to read about it and learn about it, and I can give you an accurate statement on my opinion of what do I think or what I believe of Sunday law. Mandatory sexual transition. That is Sunday law? Do you believe in the Sunday law? Migrants are okay. I'd like to share. Okay, I will do. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know what is mandatory sexual transition at border entrance. Wow. Mandatory sexual transition at border entrance. That is Sunday law. Wow, that is absolutely, if that is Sunday law, that is absolutely disgusting. That is absolute. No, say no. Okay. Because everybody's putting mandatory sexual transition at the border entrance. I'm like, what the hell's going on? That's not supposed to be Sunday law. No, okay. No, it's not. No, okay. I'll wait for you, brother. I'll wait for you. And then later on the next live tomorrow, I will talk about it, Sunday law. And tomorrow we can talk about it. Okay. God bless you all. An hour and 16 minutes. I think I already extended myself a little bit. Take care of you guys. God bless you. Thank you for donating and contributing to my independent reporting and travel fund. Let me see if I can, give a shout out to the people that they have been helping me. We have Texas. Thank you so much. Bought me a coffee. And also Scarlett bought me a coffee. Let me see if I can go to the Buy Me a Coffee app and just give a shout out to the people that they have been helping me today. That is completely appreciative. I just want to give a shout out to Miss Kim Wexler. Thank you so much, Miss Kim. God bless your dear heart. En español, por favor, no entiendo inglés. Discúlpame, soy un periodista que habla dos lenguajes y el día de hoy me tocó hablar en inglés. Cuando lo hable en español, con mucho gusto hago reportajes en Instagram, en TikTok y en muchas partes. Un abrazo. Scarlett, thank you so much. Bill Richards, thank you so much. Vida Orbis, thank you so much. Anonymous, also another one, thank you so much. And Lisa from Texas, thank you so much. And I'm going to go a little bit. Yesterday, Kim Wexler, Miss Kim, oh my God, God bless you so much. Sally Sunset, thank you so much. Marlon E, thank you so much. Kathleen, also, thank you so much. And Wayne Freebird Flies, thank you, and thank you. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, God's plan, it is our mission.